the average person off the street couldn't tell you what do we mean by the 3 macronutrients as far as protein, carbs, and fats. So first, it's like they may not be able to tell you what those 3 macros are, but also what is protein? Like, what are protein foods? What are fat foods? What are some carb foods? Like, the average person struggles with that. So if you don't have that base knowledge, how do you even understand how to build a healthy diet or put together a healthy diet? So there's a lot of education first that needs to happen around that. But once people have that understanding, that's what I mean by that empowerment. They know, okay, great, I'm getting this understanding and this information about what macronutrients are and how I need to include them in my diet, and about diversity of different types of fruits and vegetables and nuts and seeds and legumes and what that does for me. So we always approach it as what we want, as much of a broad, diverse diet as we can, because we know from a gut perspective that diversity is key to health, and the amount of diversity we have in our diet, the better for our microbiome. So I'll always say to people, I want you on a diverse diet as much as possible as that means for you. So if you're a gluten-free person, let's look at how we need to do that for you. If you're a gluten and dairy-free person, what does that mean? Or if you're a chronic gut health client and we need you on a very tailored therapeutic diet, how do we do that now and move you through that in a way that's still as diverse as it can be? So the key is always to diversify. So to go back to the extreme of like the carnivore, that for me is not ideal, optimal for someone living the rest of their life. They might feel better now, but it's like, how do we walk you out of this?
It's interesting. We've had Dan Sipple on, my friend, a naturopath, and we've talked exactly about like how the carnivore shows up when you're doing microbial, when you're doing gut testing and looking at all the strains. And so we've covered it into the you can follow that evidence of like, if you're very sick in a very particular instance, maybe it's autoimmune. I don't even know if that is the best way to go about it. Like, yes, cool, maybe, but it always lands in the diversification. And I think this is where you must hit this transformation place for people where you're going to have to trust me. And it must, like, I feel like it's either coming out, you need to come onto the other side of like, I'm sick and I need you to treat me with a diet, or people who have gone extreme, I'm dirty in some way. It must be something else extreme that I can do. Whereas you must be like just sitting in there holding this space that's a little bit more grounded. Maybe it's not as fantastical, but it's got this rich world of like, it's a rhythm. It's like, it's farmers markets, it's seasonal. There's no end to this. And then people are like, no, give it to me. I need the dopamine hit. Come on, you need to.
So true.
And you're like, man, I don't know what to tell you. We're still going to say like nuts and seeds and legumes and some meats and the 3 macros. And then I imagine you can have some fun with like, the colors and phytonutrients coming in, as well. So, and it's just we always say, it's like, it doesn't sell as well because it's not as sexy. Like it's like, and I'll often use the analogy, what we're building is the foundations of a house. So we need the foundations first. And once you have that, then you can start to go nuts depending on what you want to do with the like window dressings and the pretty pillows, which is like, okay, now I know the foundations. I'm like, oh, what's this cool thing I can add over here? Or what's this funky, different new herb I haven't tried before? And it's like, cool, great. But like, get your foundations right first, get the unsexy stuff set, which is never going to go away. It's a lifestyle. It's not something you just do for 12 weeks and then you just fall off the wagon. Like, this is life. Get that happening first, and then come to me and we can have the conversations about different things to add.